Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. So this is where we left it off, whereby we created our route. So our API is taking shape. So at this video, we just want to create simple create, read, and update, and delete. So that this will be like a fully CRUD application. But then we won't dwell that much on pure Node.js because I just wanted to give you guys a full insight on just how Node.js works in its pure sense. And then if you guys want to go deeper into this, you guys can comment down below and I'll definitely go deeper if you guys want me to. But then I believe this will be our last video on pure Node.js, and on the next video we'll be starting with Express. Alright, so I'll just create a new folder called crud.js. So if you like these videos, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll definitely do more of this. Right, so we can just name this class as CRUD. So yeah, we'll be creating our create, read and update. So what we need here is, because we won't be using any npm packages, we need to store our data in our file system. So we'll make a .data folder. So this is the convention, just to say there's a hidden folder, and then in there we need a collection. So this is how it is. So it's sort of like in MongoDB, you need a database and a collection where it has collections. I don't know if that made sense. So let's say this one is just a folder called maybe users. Let's just say users. All right. So but then what we want to do right now is we want to get the root directory of this folder, so that when we get this root directory, we point that here, right? So that on each and every CRUD operation, we point it to the root directory, that is data. So how we do that is we'll make a function, and then let's say data directory, and then it doesn't take any arguments. And then what we need is we need to say return. So we need this function to return a path. So say path dot join. So path dot join and underscore directory name. And then from here, where do you want to go? Because the CRUD is in the root directory, so it's dot and then dot data, right? So this is what we need, but then we need to import path, right? So say const path is equals to require path, right? So now we have that done. So now we want to start with our create function, right? So our create function is basically making a folder in our file system that will be containing data, right? So we can just do it below this directory thing, either way it's fine. So now we just say create, right? So in here, what we want to do is we want this to take in argument, and this will take in the directory, and it will take in the file, takes in the data which is given by the user, and then returns a callback. All right. So now what we do is we want to get this root directory, right, which is found on this function. So say const data directory is equals to this dot data directory, right? So that will give us the path. And then what we want to do is we want to say fs. So it means that because we will be dealing with file system, so I want to say const, so we need to bring in fs, require fs, right? So we say fs dot open, and then when we open here, we want to get that root directory, which is the data directory, plus the directory which we want to have this file in. So this is the database, so you can look at this as the database, and this is the collection, right? And then now you want to store that particular content in the file, and then that file must be a .json file, and then we want to have the flag for writing, and then we'll get an error. A callback from this will give us an error, and a descriptor, right? A descriptor. So that will be giving us that. So what we want to check is we want to say if there's any errors. Let's say if the so we want to say if there is any errors, we want to return so say if there's an error, what we want to do is we want to call back, and then with a status code of 200, and then we say error could not create new file. Right, so that's what we'll do. And why am I getting that error there? Oh yeah, because I said a full stop here, it should be a comma. Right, so else if there's no errors, what then I want to do is I want to start now with my logic. Right, I wanna now say fs dot open, not open dot write file sync. So I want to write file sync, and that file sync will take in a descriptor, and then it takes in the data that is received. We have to stringify the data, right? That's a const they received, let's say received data is equals to JSON dot stringify, and I want to stringify that data, right? And then what I then do is and then say file sync the descriptor, and then it takes in the received data, and then it brings back a callback of an error. So what I then do is say if there's no any error, I then want to say fs dot close, and it takes in another descriptor and a callback of an error. And then I do say if there's no any errors again, I want to return a callback with a status code of, what did I say, 200 here, it should be 500 now. Status code, and then that here should be 201, saying that created, and then we'll have a message, and for 500 is for internal server error. So say message here is data stored. Alright, however, if there is any error, we then have a callback of 500, because this was our problem in the server, saying that could not close file. And then also here in this else part, because here we're trying to write, and then we have an error that will say could not write. This will be a status code of 500 saying error could not write in new file. So this should be our create method. Alright, so this should be our create method in a nutshell, not that complicated. So I could say let's just test it out. Let's just test it out and see if it works. So let's just test it out here in the base server, So what you do is we now want to require the function there. So let's call it CRUD as equals to require. I want to require the CRUD, and then let's make a new instance. Let's just make it anyway, because I'm not gonna be heating it out. I just wanted to occur the instance this thing happens, right? And I say let's make a new instance, new CRUD. And what's happening here? Is this recognizing my, okay, so it's not oh, I didn't export this thing, and so I could see, man, like it's module.export, and I say CRUD, right? So now that should be something. There we go. So we can say CRUD dot create, and in this create we need the directory. So the directory is the users, so we say users, and then the file, let's say test, and then the data, let's say username, and then let's say junior, and password, let's say 12345, right? And then we need the callback, right? So the callback here is basically saying that if there's any error, I say if error, I just wanna console.log the error, come on, and then else console.log no error. I don't know if my logic is right, but then let's see. Right, so let's just run this server and then let's see how it goes. So we and I say npm, why am I saying npm? I say node server.js, and then we're getting a 500. That's weird. Okay, let's see, let's just have two arguments, say data also. So let's say if error, actually let's not even have like this, let's just, once this thing runs, I just want to log out console.log data console.log error. Let's just see what happens. Good old days. Could not create new file. That's nice, that's nice. So we see that it's not creating our file, and what could be the error? Okay, so now to debug this, so let's just go back to our logic. So it said fs.open, and then we had the data directory, and just to make sure there's the directory name data.js, and that's perfect. So we said fs.open, and then we said directory / and then the file, and then .json, and then we said the error and transcriptor. Okay, so here could not create a file. I feel like this is giving me, there's a wrong. Okay, let's just log out this let's say console.log error. I feel like this is a wrong condition there. No such file in the directory. What's happening now? Because I said users. I said users with a small letter. Is it maybe because of that the dot data, which I doubt should give me that problem. Okay, let's see if this is what I feel like. Maybe let's say data, and then let's say users, right? And then let's come here to CRUD. It means we have to readjust this to point. We do that, and then we say data. Right, I thought that should solve my problem, but then let's see exactly. Oh, if you guys can see, you see these things are joined, the data and the users, and there is no folder like that. So it means there's a problem here. That's a data directory plus that's a data directory. I have to say / here. Yeah, now it's making sense. Now it's making sense. As you can see, it pops out there. So the problem was not even in my data file, so .data. So it was a nice debugging part. As you can see, the test.json got created. Here's the username. But then if you guys can see, the problem was, okay, so let's see this where the problem lies on this one. As you can see, it also lies there. The data and the user, they are co-joined, and there's nothing like that. So what we need to do is here, where's the CRUD, man? On the CRUD we need a / and then that should solve our problem. And then we do that, and then we get null, right? And by null it means that now in our we have the data JSON, so we can delete this one, so it was not needed. Right, it was a nice debugging process there. So now we're done with create. So now we want to do read. So now we want to read the data that we have in our folder. So now we can even make another file just to make sure that it's not just working for this one, which obviously it shouldn't be. So let's say test1, and then let's just run our file again, and we get now, as you can see, it pops up test1, still get the same data, just that I didn't change the data. So now we want to start with the read data, right? So we'll say read, right? So read, we want to take in the directory that you want and the file that you want, excuse me, and it'll take a callback, right? So on this callback, we also remember want to get that data directory from this data directory, because that is the root of everything. And then what we want to say is we want to say fs dot read file, and the file that we want to read is coming from the data directory plus the directory that we placed there plus / the file, and then not forgetting the JSON, right? .json, and our mode of reading, not full stop. So our mode of reading or encoding type, we want to use UTF-8. So we say UTF-8, and that should be it after getting a callback of the error and the data that we're trying to read, right? So we say if there's no error and we have data, what I want to do is I want to say give a callback of the data and say 200, giving back that data, right? And call back, and let's say payload is the data, right? Else if there is any error, come on, man. And then else if there is any error, I want to call back the status of so what could be the error here if someone cannot read? It means most probably the file does not exist. So I'll say for not found, and say error file not found, and I can even give out the error message. Let's say camel case that error message, and then I put that error so that if that is not the case, we'll debug that and fix that. And then that should basically be the way we read a file. So let's try that. So we can, because we don't want to create anything now again, so we make another call. So let's say CRUD.read. So what we want to read, the directory is in users, remember, and then the file that we want to read, let's read test, and then a callback is the error, most probably I think, and the payload. And then what happens here is we just want to console.log the error if there's any error, and want to console.log the payload. Right, so now let's try that. Hopefully don't get any errors, and then we get that payload 200, and we get what? Our user. Right, so this is basically read. So create the read and then update. So now with update we need to get what we call the direction, the file, and also the data that we want to update. So let's come to update. So I'll even go again what do we call talking more about this. So if you guys are keen, because there's a lot that we can do with just pure Node.js, we can even like make API calls, obviously to other like third-party APIs with pure Node.js, guys. So if you guys are keen for that, we can definitely do that. So yeah, what we want to do is we want to open, but then not forgetting we need this very same line, because we always need the root directory. And then we say fs.open, and we say datum directory plus the directory there. So let me just make it short because I don't want this to be long. So let's just make a small amount of spaces. So we also want to read via that file given, not forgetting the classic JSON. And then the mode of opening this file will be using r+, and then this takes in an error. So what we do is here we need to check if we don't have any errors. So we'll say if not any errors, and then what I want to do is I want to say fs.write file, and not watchman dot write file. And then what I want to do is I want to bring in the descriptor. Let me see in my callback, I didn't put that. We need to put that descriptor. So I put that. We need a descriptor. We need the data that we got from the user. We'll say data. What's data, man? What's happening here? Because what we need to do, we need to say update. Yep, so we need to say update. So we need the data that we got from this user, and then what I then do is I then say if we get a callback of any errors, I want to bring back that callback. So what I then do, so before I write file, because I can see that I'm making a wrong mistake here, so I'm sorry guys, before I write anything here, what I have to do is I need to truncate this file. So we say fs.ft truncate, and then I put in that descriptor, and then I have a callback of that error. Right, and then what we then do is I have now to check if I do have any error, because for us to be able to update a file within the file system, we first have to truncate it. Like, yeah, I just slipped my mind necessarily what truncating actually does, but then that's what's necessary. And then we say fs.write file, and then there we pass in the descriptor, and then we pass in the data, and then we have a callback of an error. And then what we then do here is we then want to close this file if there's no any errors. Say fs if there's no any error. I wanna fs.close, and by closing, as always, we pass in the descriptor and have a callback of the error, and then we'll add all those else statements. I didn't forget that. And then if there's no any error, I call back with a status of 200 saying okay, with a message saying file updated. Right, else, so let's build those else statements. Let's say 500 because that will be our problem. Say message, and then say file was not updated. And then this else here where I was trying to write, I say else, and then I call back the status of 500 with an error saying failed to write update. Failed to write actually, because this is not part of updating. Failed to write in file. And then also coming to that else statement where we're trying to truncate this file, so you say callback with the 500 with an error there saying failed to truncate file. So that should be the logic. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, debugging as always, guys. So I'm just trying to be clear with you guys that programming it's all about debugging. If I come here with a pure perfect code, then I'll be lying to you guys. So directory here is users, file is test, the data, now I want to say username is Ben, and password is 245, and then a callback of the error and the payload, and then it's console.log. Error if it's there, it's console.log. The payload if it's there, right? So hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, standard procedures, guys, standard procedures. So we are getting that error. In CRUD.js line 63 of 18, invalid argument type. Okay, let's see line 63. What's happening here? Okay, let's see. Let's console.log the error. See that. Let's see what's happening. So I don't know if it's updating because I'm getting a response of, so it's truncating this file. As you can see, this file is now clean. It is truncating this file. So basically truncating, from what I'm seeing here, is basically removing what's there and then replacing. Right, so that's what I'm seeing, that it is doing that. So our code is going past this if condition. It is landing inside this if condition, but then we have a problem in terms of like writing, and why I'm getting that error is that what we want to debug right now. So right now my thought process right now is so my thought process is, let's log console.log the error that's in here, and then let's just copy and paste the data that is in there, so that even if that were to might be the case that we're getting an error again because of that. Why isn't it logging my error? Right, where we got this moving smooth. Okay, so it's not even reaching my log. It's not even reaching my log. If you guys are noticing that, it's not even reaching my log. Right, and I highly believe that everything is flowing there. That's how Okay, so what's happening with this code? Because okay, let's see. Okay, let's start from the top. Let's see where this code is breaking on us. Let's have that log here. Okay, so we're getting our log, right? So this is how I normally will debug my code. So I'm getting my log, and then I know for sure that yeah, I'm coming out seamlessly, right? So now I need to know what's happening right here, right? So right now I want to console.log the error, and let me see if it is throwing any errors at me, right? So right now, in order for me to do this, I need to just hold on a bit with this logic. Yeah, so we just want to hold on a bit with this logic. So if there's no any error, okay, so let's have an else. Let's console.log the error, right? Let's see. Looks like I'm not even hitting. Yeah, if you guys can see that, it looks like I'm not even hitting there. So but then for sure we'll solve this problem, don't worry about that. Okay, so the data argument must be a type of string or an instance buffer. Okay, so what I believe this is happening here, so let me see if this is the case. So if I say json.stringify, let's see. So basically we'd wanted like us to stringify the data, right? So as you can see now we have Ben 25245. So I guess maybe the error, I was moving away from the error because I never, if you guys noticed, I never even gave myself time to read thoroughly through the error message, because what I saw, it was this internal server error, but then I never gave myself time to read the type error. So this is another like giveaway point that you guys should also like take into cognizance. Sometimes it might be long, because in my mind it was like, oh my goodness, this is long, so I didn't want to give myself time to read there. But then I'm guessing you guys saw the importance of like reading. So we can even try again to like change this. Let's go to server. Let's change, oh man, what's happening? Yeah, in server, instead of Ben, let's say William, and then let's say right, and then that should work now also. And then there we go, file updated, and then we see William with those numbers. So as you can see, like reading is very important, your error message is very important, because I have been going on a goose trail. So but then now let's come to delete, right? So let's say delete, and then delete, we just need the directory and the file, and then we'll take a callback, right? So now what we then do with this, we need obviously the normal data directory so that we can get the root point, and then we say fs. So here we want to unlink this file. Say fs and then data directory plus the directory plus / the file plus .json and then it gets an error callback if there's any error, and then say if there's no errors, what I want to do is I want to call back status of 200 with a message saying file deleted, else I want to throw a callback of 500 with an error message saying that failed to delete file. Right, so now this should work hopefully, but then you know there are standard procedures for programming. If there's any debugging, we tackle that together. So we go to users. So if you guys picked that up, that error that I made, just comment down below if you guys picked up that I didn't like read through that error message. I'm keen to hear you if you guys also picked that up. So we say test, and then we need a callback of an error and the payload, right? And then we say console.log the error, and then console.log the payload, right? So let's see. Right, file deleted. As you can see, it quickly went out. So that test.json in my VS Code is saying that this is deleted, hence you see it in brackets, and if I close that, now it's completely gone. Right, so this guys will like create, read, and update. But then if you guys liked and you want me to push further with this, because what I'm thinking that I could do, if you guys are keen, I could make like an authentication system with this no np, like totally no npm packages, and we make an authentication system throwing in even tokens and then even hashing the passwords, because as you can see, we're not even hashing passwords here. You can even hash passwords using the crypto and everything. So if you guys are keen for that, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below that you guys are keen for that. But then other than that, hoping to see you guys on the next video. We will starting out with Express.js. Goodbye.